How do you know, for example, who's right here? Is it Mother Teresa, the Catholic nun who took care of the poor in Calcutta most of her life, or the murderous World War II dictator Hitler? How can you even discover who's right and wrong? Well, let me ask you a question. How do you know which map of Scotland is better? Is it map A or map B? What would you need to see in order to know? You would need to see not just a map, but a real place known as Scotland, right? And then you could see which one is closer. I mean, if Scotland doesn't exist, then these two maps are meaningless. But if Scotland does exist, we can see map A, while it's not perfect, is a better representation of the real Scotland than is map B. In other words, we have an external standard to which we can measure both maps. That's exactly what we do when we compare Mother Teresa and Hitler. Mother Teresa wasn't the standard. Hitler wasn't the standard. There's a standard beyond both of them by which we measure both of them. And we say Mother Teresa measured up to God's standard better than did Hitler. In fact, Lewis, again, and you're going to see a lot of C.S. Lewis in this presentation. That's why it's part of your reading assignment. Okay, Lewis said this so well. In fact, when Lewis was writing, he didn't really write Mere Christianity. He spoke it over the BBC during World War II. He's over the radio while people are being bombed. And he ultimately wrote it down and put it into a book years after the war. But here's what he said. He said, the moment you say that one set of moral ideas can be better than another, you are in fact measuring them both by a standard, saying that one of them conforms to that standard more nearly than the other, but the standard that measures two things is something different from either. In other words, just like the real Scotland is a standard different from the two maps, the real morality is different from your morality or my morality. That's the only way we can figure out what the right thing to do is. See how we measure up to the true morality. See where true north really points. In fact, Lewis went on, if you keep reading the quote in the book, it says something like, if we're going to say we're better than the Nazis, then there must be a best out there to which we are comparing us and the Nazis. Who's closer to this best? Be perfect as my heavenly Father is perfect. Oh, man. Jesus, you keep raising the bar here. I can't do that. I know, neither can I. That's why we need him. If we could do it, we wouldn't need him. Now, this idea that we're going to make excuses for ourselves really goes back to what is the source of sin. Now, there's a writer out there by the name of C.S. Lewis. Have you heard of him? Yeah. Here it comes again. Christianity. All right, Mere Christianity. You got it? Good book. Check out what Lewis says about this, and this cuts right to the heart as well. He says, according to Christian teachers, the essential vice, the utmost evil is pride, unchastity, anger, greed, drunkenness, and all that are flea bites in comparison. It was through pride that the devil became the devil. Pride that leads to every other vice. It is the complete anti-God state of mind. And if you think about this, you realize he's absolutely right. Because the compass is always pointing to me. That's pride. In fact, pride is why we call sins mistakes. You ever notice this on TV? Somebody gets in trouble. Oh, I made a mistake. I regret my mistakes. No one is perfect. They say all these things. Maybe we say all these things. Some guy beats his wife. Some sports star beats his wife. It's a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. A mistake is when you add up your sums wrong, right? You add up your checkbook wrong. That's a mistake. That's a sin when you beat a woman. Why do we do that? Why do we call real sins, real evil, mistakes? You think Hitler would have gotten away with saying, I made a mistake, killed 6 million Jews? It's not a mistake. It's a sin. You see, a mistake is unintentional. A sin is intentional. Some of you out there have been making mistakes deliberately.